Literally, sometimes they are. All right. Now I'm going to talk about white supremacy in America, and it is an incredibly triggering story for at least myself. A video came out recently about Ron DeSantis and the state of fucking Florida. I saw it yesterday. I didn't cover it yesterday. I didn't have time to get to it yesterday. But it is deeply, deeply, deeply frustrating. It's a story that I've been talking about pretty much for a year now, for longer than a year almost, when the state of Florida had a ballot measure that was profoundly successful and profoundly popular on top of a gubernatorial race between Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum. The ballot measure was infinitely more popular than Ron DeSantis himself. The ballot measure we're talking about, of course, is the Felon Voter Right Restoration. What that means is if you're a felon in the state of Florida, if you've gone to prison for any reason, you are not allowed to vote. Now, this is incredibly disenfranchising. It's done on purpose. The purpose is so that, you just limit the amount of people that will go vote. Poor people are more likely to go to prison. Poor people are therefore, getting eliminated. And when I say poor people, I also mean black people in general because of the over-policing and the criminalization of black communities. Okay? POC, but specifically in the state of Florida, black people. Okay? This is a way to disenfranchise black people from being able to vote. It's not as direct as like the Jim Crow laws or the poll tax, except Ron DeSantis is so brazen with his racism that he did actually do it in the same exact brazen way. So, this measure passed with overwhelming success. It was infinitely more popular than Ron DeSantis himself, who barely won over Andrew Gillum originally in the gubernatorial race. But that didn't stop them from, that didn't stop Ron DeSantis from, following through on his initiative. Obviously, this was allowing 1.2 million Floridians the right to vote. So what did they do? They found a way to stop those people from voting by instituting what is known as a poll tax. Poll tax is directly a Jim Crow era segregationist mechanism of stopping black people from voting. What Ron DeSantis basically did is if you don't pay all of your debts to the Floridian state, you are not allowed to vote. Okay? It was considered unconstitutional. It was held up in courts for a little bit, but it went through because fucking Florida. And now a lot of those people who thought that they had the right to vote were disenfranchised from voting. And now Ron DeSantis is moving and taking it one step fucking further. Friend of the show from the A-Lab boys, okay, actually reached out and had this to say. I'm going to read it. He said, we just did an episode on A-Lab series that goes through all the fucked up machinations on how they pulled this off. Pretty fucking disgusting. Such an outrageous travesty. This is, Allah Liker, at Allah Liker, Mr. Deals. Well, I'm dead naming him, but himself saying this, that it's mind-bogglingly evil. I've been screaming about this for the past year, and it doesn't seem to really get the folks in Florida all that. It doesn't seem to really get folks in Florida all that angry, or at least that anger rarely makes its way to mainstream media. He said, yeah, I don't think people really understand how badly the whole thing went down to mislead everyone into thinking voting rights had been restored, then immediately turning it around as a way to arrest people and claim that voter fraud is rampant. So there's a double bind here. On the one hand, you stop black people from voting, okay? Or you make it illegal for them to vote after Florida voted to make it legal for them to vote. And then two, you can literally say, look how rampant voter fraud is because all these people who don't have the right to vote because we robbed them of their democratic right that we had democratically given them, now we're arresting them. Here is one of the videos of someone who is arrested for voter fraud in this process. When police went to arrest Tony Patterson outside his Tampa home in August,
apparently,
he couldn't believe
I guess you
the
have
reason.
a warrant?
For what?
I'm not sure.
For voter stuff, man.
For voters.
It's what it is. I think the agents with FDLE talked to you last week about some voter fraud, voter stuff, when you weren't supposed to be voting.
I just want to mention something here that is actually truly unique. And that is, you have a bunch of hot dog motherfuckers in here, a bunch of potato thumbs and even they feel conflicted about arresting a black person. Okay? That's when you know shit has gone too far. When you got some of the most racist motherfuckers being like, oh man, even I feel fucking bad arresting you. I think it's like voter stuff, man. I'm so sorry. That's when you know shit is fucked up. Okay? When the hogs know it's fucked up, you know it's fucked up. Even they're like, it's kind of bullshit, brother, but you know, we got to do what we got to do.
Maybe.
I didn't.
So
What are they talking about?
that's
man?
what
Why
you're.
is they-
We're not the case agents, but what you got to do, they have reduced your bond quite a bit. It's 2 felony charges for voter fraud, but they've reduced it to $500 bonds. So it's $1,000 total.
Oh my God, man! What
So- Yes, sir. So unfortunately, right now we're gonna have to take you to jail, but you got a bond right away. You don't have to go to first.
The arrests are a result of Governor Ron DeSantis' new Office of Election Crimes and Security. 20 people have been targeted and arrested.
We have a warrant for your arrest.
For what?
For voter fraud.
Good, how are you, sir?
Oh my God, hold on.
Wait.
Let me tell my husband. Baby.
We're telling him he's right here.
Right here. So if you can put your hands behind your back, please.
Oh my God.
Do
So-
not move.
Ultimately, ma'am, you have a warrant. Okay. The
You
warrant.
know-
Listen, hold on, listen. I know you caught off guard. I understand, right? So you have a warrant. It's for voter fraud. Okay. Hear me out. It's an ROR. You know what an ROR is?
Oh my God.
You go in, you get booked, and then they're going to release you from booking.
You can go right out.
You're going to be right back out. Okay.
Right back
But you have a warrant.
Okay. I'm like, voter fraud. I voted, but I ain't commit no fraud.
Well,
We know now that the Florida Secretary of State actually also sent ballots to these people, for the record. We talked about this a while ago. I've covered the story. I've been following it very closely. If you remember, they thought they had the right to vote. And by all means, they should have the right to vote. If we lived in a democratic society, they would have the right to vote. Okay? Democracy supposedly prevailed in the state of Florida. People voted overwhelmingly for these people to be able to vote. Ron DeSantis fought it in the courts and switched it around, but they still got their ballots. For all intents and purposes, they thought they had the right to vote. Why the fuck wouldn't they? Okay? People voted for it. They got their ballots. They complied with everything, and they did their civic duty. And they went out and voted. Ron DeSantis then created a new commission specifically so that he could get clips like this out. Because if you have a sense of decency and have a moral compass, you look at this and you go, how cruel, how indecent, how fucked up. But Ron DeSantis was banking on how viciously, virulently, and violently racist people are, that they would look at this and go, hell yeah, brother, we're fighting the good fight. Now, I think that that was a misstep politically. I think that this was like the abortion ban. Republicans taking it too far, feeling like they have a sense of comfort and security to be able to do this. But you have to have a Democratic Party that also fights against this. You have to have a Democratic Party that shows this and says this is unacceptable, this is abhorrent. But the ultimate goal and purpose of videos like this is to ensure that out of the 1.2 million felons that had their right to vote restored, okay, that they are fearful in going out and voting, to make them second guess, to make them stop, to stop them from going out and voting because they are afraid of going back to prison.
so that's the thing. I don't know exactly what happened with it, but you do have a warrant. That's what it's for. Okay?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened with that, but
I got out. The guy told me that I was free here to go vote to whatever.
Again, I'm not trying to troll or attack you, but aren't these people murderers and sexual predators? Again, not attacking? No, they're not. Okay? You're wrong about that. However, even if they were, if they served their fucking time, they should be able to vote. They should be able to vote while they're serving their time. Americans always think you go to fucking prison for doing pedophilia and murders. That's not the case.
Because I've done my time.
Yep.
I was 50.
But the warrant was just made yesterday, so
And the guys talked to me 2 weeks ago.
yeah, I know. I don't know, ma'am. I honestly couldn't tell you. Okay. So I got to do some paperwork, and the quicker I can get the paperwork done, the quicker I can get you there. Okay.
Hey, unfortunately, you got a warrant out, okay?
Warrant?
Yes, sir. Want to put your hands behind your back for me?
Well, no, but no one ever really explained all that much to me. I told the guys when they came out here that I was at the driver's license place getting my new driver's license. Yeah. The guy there asked me, he says, hey, can you, he says, hey, are you ready to vote? I said, no, I'm a convicted felon. I'm pretty sure I can. He goes, well, are you still on probation? I said, no.
Like, this man got off probation. That's crazy. But as the videos further support, the amendment and subsequent actions by state lawmakers caused mass confusion about who was eligible, and the state's voter registration forms offer no clarity. They only require a potential voter to swear under penalty of perjury that they are not a felon, or if they are, that their rights have been restored. The forms do not clarify that those with murder convictions don't get automatic restoration of their rights. Oliver, who served 18 years in prison on a second-degree murder charge, registered to vote at the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles on February 14, 2020. 6 months later, she updated her address and completed another registration form. After brief eligibility checks by the Department of State, which reports to DeSantis and is responsible for cleaning up the rolls of ineligible voters, she was given a voter ID and card both times. This person did a crime, did the time, got out, showed that she had been rehabilitated, reintroduced into society, was told that she is able to vote by the state, thought that she was voting. My dad got a felony charge for having a plastic straw because he got pulled over and had prior drug offenses, so they considered it paraphernalia. Felony charges don't always mean severe or violent actions. But even if they are severe and violent actions, if you have done the time, if you have been in prison for 18 fucking years and they let you out because you have shown to the state that is not sympathetic to you at all that you are rehabilitated, okay? You should be able to have your voter rights restored. Okay? That's it. Florida is a state where you have to have a fucking DUI to become a congressperson. You're really going to tell me that all felonies are created equal in this state? That all people have equal access? Get the fuck out of here, man. Oliver wasn't removed from the rolls until March 30 this year, more than 2 years later. So this is also like after they took the steps to remove her from the voter rolls. Like, she was on the voter rolls. The state thought that she was eligible to vote. And it turns out she wasn't. Okay? Even though she should have always had the right to vote. She should have been able to vote from prison. I've said this time and time again. I am in favor, I will say it loudly and proudly, I am in favor of allowing convicts, prisoners, the right to vote. Okay? 1,000%. It is insane that we do not consider that to be even a viable position to have. It is insane to me that we do not consider prisoners as human beings. It's a sign of how fucked up this country is. Okay? The recordings by Tampa police and Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies reveal officers who were patient, understanding, almost apologetic. A handcuffed Nathan Hart, 49, found a sympathetic ear when he explained how he ended up registering and voting illegally, according to the sheriff's office recording. Here it is.
I got off probation like a month ago. He goes, well, then you can probably vote. Hey, just fill out the form, and if you can vote.
This guy is a registered sex offender.
Can't vote, then you won't. And I'm like, all right.
And there's your defense. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So it sounds like a loophole to me.
The 2018 Florida Constitutional Amendment restored the right to vote for felons. It did not apply to anyone convicted of murder or a felony sex offense.
It's because of the sex offender thing that you can't vote. So,
Meanwhile, Matt Gaetz, literally in Congress.
I mean, the warrant is for the voting deal, I guess, but... I guess it's kind of all tied together.
The law and changes to it caused confusion about who was eligible, and the state's voter registration forms offered no clarity. All those arrested on August 19 were given voter registration cards. Every single person that they fucking re-arrested, okay, and put back into the system thought that they were fulfilling their civic duty. The state told them that that was something that they were eligible to do. They were on the voter rolls. It is the state's fault. It's also fucking ridiculous that they can't vote to begin with. They should be able to vote. That's that. You do the crime, you do the time, it's a part of reintegration. You should be able to vote. That's crazy. Especially additionally crazy when you consider how fucking inhumane the American criminal justice system is. They overcame that. And to put them and to throw them violently back into the system for something that they did not even know that they were in the wrong for. It's mind-boggling.
All tied together. Yeah, I guess they're doing like some kind of roundup.
Just because Gates is free doesn't mean other pedophiles should. I agree with you on some of this, but nah, you mess with kids, you get your human rights revoked. First of all, he's a convicted sex offender. The fact that he's roaming the goddamn streets and is not even on probation anymore probably implies that his sex offense wasn't what you think it is, okay? Your mind shouldn't always immediately go to like the worst. Like, not all of these people are fucking Jeffrey Dahmer. Do you understand? Jesus Christ. You immediately go, Jeffrey Dahmer, you shouldn't vote. I personally believe that everyone should be able to vote. What are they going to vote to fucking lower the age of consent laws? Is that what you think? Don't worry, libertarians can freely vote. You should probably focus more on stopping libertarians from voting.
Thing or something for all the ones that were within the county.
Yeah, I had to do one of these this morning already.
Oh, really?
Do you know the statutes for them?
It doesn't say it on the...
Let's walk over to my car,
Why is
okay?
y'all doing this now and this happened years ago?
I don't know. I have no idea, man.
I've never seen cops arrest black people that were convicted felons of possibly murder or sex crimes. I've never seen cops do this in this way, okay? I'll straight up say it. Even they fucking recognize, man, this is kind of fucked up, actually. Can you imagine? Police officers going up to a black person's house, knowing full well that they're a convicted felon for either sex crimes or murder, okay? And they're still this cordial because they're like, yeah, this is kind of fucked up. That's when you know, in the state of Florida, too, that shit is bananas, okay? Things have gone very wrong.
This shit crazy, man. Y'all put me in jail for something I didn't know nothing about. Why would y'all let me vote if I wasn't able to vote?
This morning, new video shows Florida officers almost apologetic while arresting visibly confused.
I just want to say one other thing about America. American cops are so fucking horrifyingly brutal that there is widespread consensus on how insane it is that they are apologetic during an arrest, okay? Like everyone from Fox News to CNN to people like me are like, wow, it's kind of weird that they're not being abhorrent humans, okay? Scumbags while arresting black people. That's kind of crazy. It's like, bro, that should be the proper protocol for arrest, okay? They should be arresting everyone in this capacity. It's wild. Like, decency from cops is so unexpected. And that, to me, screams systemic failure, okay? Wow, I can't believe they're treating them like human beings. That's insane. Not as insane as forgetting the top of the hour ad break, which comes and goes at the top of every hour. And of course, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. What's going on? Back in the day, there were no ads at the top of the hour or at the bottom. Now there are more ads coming your way. Well, fear not. The way to avoid those ads is by subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, or by getting gifted a sub. Here's the 1-minute ad break now. ODST Jacob, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Pedophiles get the fucking wall. When shit pops off, actually pops off, they get the fucking wall. Dude, I don't... Look, I'm sorry, brother. I'm not going to fucking, go against my convictions here. No matter how fucking insightful you want to... Or not insightful, but like... no matter how passionate you are about this, okay? Rehabilitation is always supposed to be the goal of the fucking criminal justice system, okay? It's not about vengeance. It's about justice. Justice is not about vengeance. You want to know what's wrong fundamentally with your attitude here? I'm too old for Twitch. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. You want to know what's fundamentally wrong with your attitude? You see a bunch of people getting arrested. You hear they might be convicted of sex crimes, which ranges from violent pedophilia all the way to peeing in a fucking outdoor place, okay? And you literally immediately go to, well, they're violent pedophile criminals. Think about that for a second. Your draconian attitude towards crime and punishment unironically leads you to operate in a way where you think every fucking person is the worst criminal possible, okay? You're trying to now add post hoc justifications and rationalizations for it. But remember, now that you realize, like, okay, maybe some of these people fucked up, maybe whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay? You're now saying, well, the violent pedophiles need to be killed. Violent pedophiles, like someone needs to be killed immediately. These people are convicted felons who literally did their time. Okay? In every sense of the word, they should have access to everything that society offers. Everything. And then immediately goes, what if it was your kid? This is just a substitute. You're saying if I personalize the crime, you will operate in a more selfish way. Okay? You're just basically reporting that if something happens to you as an individual, you are going to let go of your convictions. Okay? That's all you're telling me. And you're ascribing that level of self-interest to me. Okay?
Convicted felons for alleged illegal voting in the 2020 election. The arrests were part of the far-reaching crackdown by Ron DeSantis on supposed voter fraud. CNN's Leo Santiago is live in Miami for us. What's going on here, Leo?
Well, John, I've actually spoken to two of the individuals who were arrested as part of this crackdown. They told me they thought that they were voting legally. They had no intention of doing anything illegal. They thought they could vote because the state issued them a voter ID card. Now, Governor Ron DeSantis has called this crackdown and publicly portrayed it as a sort of justice to ensure election security. But his critics...
Man, elections are so secure, more secure than ever before. Imagine duping 1.2 million people, okay, into thinking that they have the right to vote. Imagine the state offering them fucking, putting them on voter ballots or voter rolls, and then offering them voter registration forms and cards, and only getting 20 people. He tried to entrap millions and only got 20, and he's like, man, what a fucking gigantic W this was. Crazy. Now, there might be more people, by the way. There might be more people that were cast under this, okay? This incredibly insidious, awful, demon-like process of entrapment that Ron DeSantis is forcing people on top of, okay? They should not be arrested for it. They should not even suffer any sort of legal or financial penalties for this, okay? It is completely abhorrent behavior. It's political posturing in theater, and he's playing with people's lives once again.
Calling this a political stunt.
It is a political stunt.
Ma'am, we have a warrant for your arrest.
For what?
For voter fraud.
Good, how are you, sir?
Right?
A newly obtained police body camera video shows Tampa police officers arresting Ramona Oliver for allegedly voting illegally in the 2020 election.
All right. So I know you're caught off guard, but unfortunately that's how this stuff works, okay?
I'm like, what the hell?
So.
I know, man.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm like, voter fraud. I voted, but I ain't commit no fraud.
Well, so that's the thing. I don't know exactly what happened with it, but you do have a warrant. That's what it's for.
The videos, first reported by the Tampa Bay Times, provide a fresh glimpse into a far-reaching state operation in August to crack down on supposed voter fraud.
The state of Florida has charged and is in the process of arresting 20 individuals across the state for voter fraud.
Why does he keep doing the most transparent political stunts? Is he really just banking on the hogs being that stupid and hateful? Yes. There is a room full of fucking hogs and hogalinas that are clapping at him. So yes, the answer unfortunately and sadly is yes, they are that fucking stupid. And yes, they are that fucking hateful. And yes, they do look at something like this and never think of the consequences. They never think of how this might impact them. There are probably people that think this is great that have done voter fraud themselves under the same exact category. People are that stupid, especially Americans. God damn, I gotta pee.
These folks voted illegally in this case, and there's going to be other grounds for other prosecutions in the future. They are disqualified from voting because they've been convicted of either murder or sexual assault.
Oliver is a convicted felon. She served 20 years in state prison for second-degree murder, according to her attorney, Mark Rankin. Her attorney told CNN Oliver was approached at a bus stop one day on the way to work by someone registering voters, and she told them she was a felon. Rankin says the person then told Oliver that she could fill out the form, and if she was eligible, she would get a voter registration card. He says Oliver later received a voter registration card in the mail and therefore thought she was eligible to vote.
I got out. The guy told me that I was free and clear to go vote or whatever because I done my time.
Yep.
I was finished. I didn't owe nobody nothing.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know what happened. All I know is that you have a warrant, and all it does is say you have a warrant, and I got to go arrest you.
Her attorney says, quote, she served her time and got out, and she got out around the time that Amendment 4 was passed, which affected the rights of felons to vote. Her understanding was that felons had their rights restored. Oliver pleaded not guilty to the illegal voting charge and has a trial set for December. These were the first arrests by Governor Ron DeSantis' newly formed Florida Office of Election Crimes and Security, which was an agency created.
You know what was really funny? Someone just said 53 Russians are watching in the chat right now. I feel like this is one of those things that if like they did it in Russia, and they do shit like this in Russia all the time, American media across the board, including Fox News and all the right-wing media, would be like, look at what they're doing in Russia. Absolutely unacceptable behavior from the cold Kremlin autocratic government. You know? Residents in the villages who voted twice were asked to take a civics class, by the way. Of course, they're fucking rich Republicans, so.
To probe alleged voting irregularities. Almost immediately after the charges were filed, questions surfaced about whether the individual knew they were violating the law by voting. CNN affiliate WPLG spoke to one of the individuals arrested, Ronald Miller.
Bro, it's not like it's not like you're charging them and arresting them for doing something fun either. You're just fucking voting. Like, can you imagine? It's something that we're trying to. In a normal country, it would be something that you're trying to get people to do, okay?